Well, hello everyone. My name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. I have another unique zombie for you for a Dungeons & Dragons game right now. In Dungeons & Dragons, role-playing games in general, and heck, media overall, zombies are really a faceless horde without much more personality than being disgusting and wanting to eat brains. However, in your games, if you include a couple of zombies that have a very unique personality and look and feel to them, they can be very effective. I want to share one of those zombies with you today, which is the Tombrobbed. Long kept on display in the Royal Museum, this giant's preserved corpse was pulled out of a tar pit with a decent amount of its blackened flesh still intact. It was thought at the time by scholars that it must have been an esteemed member of its tribe that was buried to be preserved. When death swept the region, however, it animated along with everything else. Now it is a lumbering pile of oozing tar and hunger with a great deal more rotting flesh, none of which is its own. You see, it absorbs creatures into it to add more muscle mass, and their poor, slick bodies, which are kind of writhing and melting away, are slowly but surely filling out its regal form. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Tombrobbed statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The Tombrobbed is a challenge rating 5 large undead that is neutral evil. It has enough residual intelligence and personality that it really thinks itself better than everything else and wants to fill out its regal form and start to get what it deserves from the living and from the world now that it is awake once again. It does have a lot of hit points for a challenge rating 5 creature, a pretty low armor class like a zombie normally would, but it is also vulnerable to fire damage because it's covered in a tar-like slick substance, and heroes are probably going to need to take advantage of that to take it down. It's not just the boatload of hit points that can be a problem for heroes to deal with, nor is it the fact that it has multi-attack with 2 heavy slam attacks as you would expect a giant to have. On top of all of that, remember, it's covered in tar, so it does have adhesive like a mimic does, so any creature that it hits with its slam attacks is automatically grappled. Any creature that touches it is also automatically grappled. We take that to another level with absorb. So if a creature is grappled by the Tombrobbed, it can then attempt to absorb them into its body, and they have to succeed on a strength check. If not, they get sucked in, they start taking necrotic damage. If they die, they become part of its body, and that's not a good state for anybody really to be in. They can, of course, pull themselves free later or be pulled free by an ally. And we're not done yet. It also has an ability called Tar Baby. So anytime it's struck with a melee attack, like a weapon or the like, that person has to make a strength save, or the weapon gets stuck to the tar, and that person is now disarmed. So really, it's something you want to kill with fire from a long distance. This is designed in mind for, again, a classical horror campaign that takes place in a necropolis where most things are dead with a few unique zombies that are plugged around in it, kind of like Zombicide Black Plague, which is one of my favorite board games. I would be interested to hear how would you use the Tombrobbed in your own game. You can find it, dozens of more zombies, and hundreds still more horror-themed monsters, all for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. They're all perfectly free at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the non-Dungeons & Dragons horror role-playing projects that I have, or the horror fiction that I write that includes grease paint right here, it's got a killer clown. It may or may not have zombies. I'm not going to tell you right now. Book 2 should be out sometime this summer, by the way, so keep an eye out for that. You can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com. Again, as always, I want to thank you for your time and your attention, and have a great rest of the evening ahead of you.